Good morning. It is day 6 out of 30 of doing 333 push-ups every single day for 30 days. That equivalates to 10,000 push-ups this month. Now, I just watched the game. My nephew is under 14, so he played a bit of rugby. Sent me a link. School rugby is actually really cool, and the reason why I wanted to watch this is that was my old school. That is exactly where I used to play rugby. So seeing the stadium, the field, and just the colors again of the jerseys is quite nice. And obviously supporting my nephew is important. He played number 15. I played 13 when I was in school, and I eventually went on to play professional, but then I had 2 knee operations. So, but life pushes you into the directions of where you should be, I believe. Like there's no real, when you look back on all these things that happened, it makes sense, So never, if something does happen in your life that's not necessarily planned according to your plan, just know that, eventually it'll make sense. It will. I don't know how, but it will make sense to you. Anyway, I'm gonna do my push-ups indoors today, probably because it's it's raining like crazy. Super rain. So gonna finish the 333 push-ups today indoors and see if we can do something. Alrighty, first set of push-ups. Let's go. Let's get straight into it, shall we? Oh, see Daisy. Alright. 33. Alrighty. And you can also see that is the total of push-ups that I have done so far. It's quite, like I said, I edit these videos and I put the number there, and it's quite cool to see that, like I said, if you look at video 1 when I started, that first push-up, I wasn't sure, or the first set, I wasn't sure if I was going to make it, because it's, it's a lot of push-ups. Even like for me, that's been training for years, it's quite a lot. If you think about it, 10,000 in 30 days. And this is excluding the training sessions in the gym and running and things like that. But now looking at the numbers, seeing how much I've done and feeling the way I feel, I definitely, again, we crossing fingers that injuries are not going to come into play, but I definitely know that I can do this. And I think that is the main thing when you start any challenge, or when you try and achieve something, a goal, a dream, whatever it is that you want, because you have to start. Some people wait for the perfect time to start, or when they're ready, or when they think they can succeed. But just go. And then once you go, once you've done your push-ups, once you've done the study and the courses, and once you've filmed a few videos, if you wanted to become a YouTuber or whatever, you start seeing, okay, I made a mistake here, made a mistake there, you correct it, and then before you know it, you've done 52 videos and you are now a YouTuber. You understand? Or you got the job, or you've changed your body, or you've done over 1,000 plus 2,000 push-ups, and then that faith that you had in yourself and the hope that you would be able to do it has now turned into belief. Now you believe it. So now nothing can stop you, because once someone believes in themselves, it's tough to break that guy's spirit. So anyway, let's go set 2. $33. There you go. Whew. Let's see. A little pump action, not too crazy. I think my chest is now almost like when as a kid they used to say, if you stare too long at the TV, your eyes will turn into squares, or if you pull your face, it's gonna stay that way. Your parents used to tell you that. I feel like that's the kind of thing that I want to say about my chest. Like, just because I've been doing so many push-ups, it's now got stuck into a pump mode. It's just always pumped, which I am not going to complain about. Definitely not. Quite excited about that. Yeah, it was quite nice watching the rugby game, seeing the old stadium where I used to do push-ups, and that was the only thing I did under 14. That means I was 13, 14 years old. You weren't really allowed in the gym. We couldn't gym. I started like secretly going to the gym when I was 14, obviously try and like wangle my way through, but at 15 you were eligible to enter. So only at 15 did I start, and I'm 34 now. So that's a good 19 years, but I wouldn't say that I trained 19. I always say about 15 plus, in a sense, like 16, 17 years, because, you know, there was a year or so that I was injured or I had injuries and things, but most of the time, yeah, I think out of the year, I would train at least 300 days. And I mean, you know, last year I trained 365 days in the year, so I've recorded it on Instagram, so you know what they say, you have to record it, otherwise it's not true. Well, it's actually a Facebook thing. If you don't post it on Facebook, it's not official. Isn't that on the Facebook? There was a movie called The Social Dilemma or something, or Social, or The Society, or fuck, I don't know. Something to do with Facebook and how they created it, and they kind of like took it to the extreme where they said, you know, the girl was basically upset because they were dating for 2 years, but he didn't, on his status wasn't dating, you know, or it was still single, so they got upset. So that's kind of how it is. If you don't record it, no one's gonna believe you. But I'm just joking, of course. Alright, 3 sets. 1 more left. 1 more set left. I just want to update and let you guys know. I know there are a lot of you that are really like watching videos and supporting me and, you know, commenting and stuff like that. So I just thought I'd let you know. In my previous videos, I told you that I might be, or I'm very close to being monetized. In my way, like I said, it's an achievement. It's not the money. That's not the thing that's the major goal. It's the fact that for 4 years I've been making videos, and finally I'm at the edge, the brink of success in that regard, of achieving the 4,000 watch hours. So, you know, it is honestly just thanks to you. You know, I appreciate it so much, because when you start off and you get 1 subscriber, then you work your way to 10 subscribers, then you get 100, and you get a little email from YouTube saying congratulations, you've got 100 subscribers. All those little things, it's incredible, you know. So to eventually get an email saying that you have made the partner program, YouTube partner program, it's I personally, I probably won't cry, but there's definitely something inside that's going to be an emotional thing, because it's like knocking on a door every day for 4 years, just knocking. And finally, the door's going to open. Now what's behind the door, I do not know. I don't know how it's going to be, how things are going to be. Is it going to be a, what do you call it? What's that word for it? When you open, your expectations are so high and then you kind of get disappointed. Anyway, there's a word for that. But it could be that, or it could exceed all expectations and be absolutely amazing. So, anyway, got a little present from my cats again. Let's do 1 last set, and then I'm gonna do a little bit of work, and then hit the gym, and then come back and do the lunch one. And hopefully the rain subsides, so we can actually maybe potentially do an outdoor activity. Let's see. Alrighty, 33, that's 132, you know how it goes. At the moment, that is what I'm on. I'll see you guys in the gym. Let's go. Alrighty, we are in the parking lot of the gym. Today I'm gonna train a little bit of legs. It's just gonna be hammies, some calves, and some glutes. Very chilled. I feel like weekends, you know, it's tough when when you're doing challenges, when I do these 30-day challenges, I just always try and conserve my energy a little bit, you know. It doesn't mean, and you know this, you know, I always, when I'm in the gym, I always smash it, or I say like, oh, I'm going to do a light session, and then, you know, I flex in the gym or in the locker room afterwards, and I'm like, you know what, I actually smashed it. Because you go in with a mindset of like, I'm just going to do a little bit of legs, it's weekend, just chilled, you know, and then bam, you get in there, and once it bites you, you know, once you do that first set and you feel like the burn in the legs, you kind of just keep smashing, you know. And obviously once I put the headphones on and the music is pumping, and you kind of get the vibe, and then you get into it. So it might actually be a hard session, but let's go. Alrighty, that is rear legs done. So look, see, not too bad. Yep. Some calves and some glutes and some hammies. I listened to a little podcast. One thing I could take from that was, you know, if you want to be successful, look at people that fail and failure, and try and not do that. For instance, if you want to, you know, if you look at someone, maybe you look at a guy and you think, I don't want a relationship with my wife the way he has with his wife, then you obviously do the opposite. You don't do what he does. Same way with someone sitting on the couch eating all sorts of shit, never training, never coming in on hard days, or never coming in at all. You don't want to be that guy. You look at him and in your mind you're like, I know I can be better. Now if you don't do it, you're going to end up like that person. So just do the opposite of what he does and actually show up, come to the gym, do the work, and you're going to get the success that you want. You know, it makes sense. If you're on a path and you eliminate all the bad things, you'll be left with all the good things. Really, really mind-blowing. Anyway, let's go do some push-ups at home and have some lunch. Alrighty, done and dusted. Gym complete. Still raining outside. It is, I mean, it's cloudy, semi-rainy, so, you know, it gives it that nice little Saturday movie day weather, hot chocolate vibes. But, you know, we've got work to do. We've got to do these push-ups, so let's get going, and then we discuss afterwards what's going to happen. $33, quite easily done. Yeah, I mean, a little update on the push-ups, I guess. I mean, it is a video about push-up challenges. Fairly easy still, no injuries. And I personally think that if you have time, like if I wasn't working, or if I was a student, or, you know, whatever, if I just had more time in the day, I could have pushed this, you know. Could have pushed this to, like, let's say 500 push-ups, and then I'll do 100 in the morning, 100 at like midday, like, well, just before lunchtime, and then again like just before dinner, and then after dinner, you know, easily 500 push-ups a day, which will leave you with, I think, 15,000, which would have been a way better achievement. But again, I don't want to be greedy. I think 10,000 is enough for now, so let's do that. But the reason why I'm saying this is just giving you an indication of how hard you think it is compared to how hard it really is. If someone told me I'm going to do 10,000 push-ups in a week, I'll calculate that and say, okay, well, 10,000 divided by 7 is a hell of a lot of push-ups. How are you going to fit that in the day? And are you going to do it in one sitting, or are you going to spread it out through the day? Because all of that things make difference. So, which I didn't, you know, think it's tough, but if you spread it out, 10,000, 30 days, you know, 3 different periods in the day, I think it's definitely doable. So if you haven't joined this train, get on it. Let's go. I think the bad thing, well, it's not bad, but is not being able to go outside in the rain. Because I told you before, I want to do at least one part out of the 3 parts I want to do outside to force myself to go on a little adventure before we move, and also create a little scenery in these videos. Otherwise you're just watching me doing push-ups every single minute you watch the video, and it's supposed to be entertaining, but you know, sometimes, and what I've learned from YouTube, if you are looking to start a YouTube channel, or if you have one and it's not growing at the moment, or even if you have millions of followers and you're watching this, you know, then you can at least relate and say if I'm right or wrong. But I feel the main things, at least 2 that I know of, there probably are more, but the 2 things is to add value. And one of them could be via entertainment, right? So funny jokes, pranks, you know, cool little things. Oh, there's 3 things. Cool little things, right? So entertaining people, making them laugh, making them enjoy the content. The second one would be information, you know, like actually motivating and giving people information on certain things, and so that they can walk away from the video having learned something, you know, like that's a pretty good thing. And then, you know, your third thing is obviously like a skill, like how to play guitar, or how to open up a can, or like Googled, watch YouTube videos today on how to make international payments from my bank, for instance, you know. It's like, but that person got a view from me, you know. So those are the 2 or 3 that I know. So in this specific one, even though I want it to be an entertaining video, I do feel that most of the views and the story that it'll tell or give is one of education, you know, teaching you that if you do it a certain way, if you can do it, of course, yes, there's some entertainment because it's a challenge, right? But the majority of percentage of it is just educational. What happens after doing 333 push-ups every single day for 30 days, and you learn something. You learn something every day. When I maybe say like, ooh, you know, after 10 days of doing it, your chest starts to go into hyper water, you know? So, or maybe not. Or you learn, which is the simple thing, that if you do it, nothing changes. It's easy. You just do it and your chest maybe gets bigger, or, you know, that's the whole thing. It's an experiment. So after this whole thing, nothing could change. Nothing. My chest could be the same size. I could not get stronger. You know, nothing can change. But at least we've done the challenge, and at least we can then accurately say, oh, you know what, if you do this, fuck all's gonna change, you know? So that's why I do it. So stick around until the end to find out if it was worth it. Let's go. And to be honest, already something that I can tell you that's working is the fact that my chest, again, is always pumped, always nicely, you know, full, and I am getting, what's the word, endurance. Like, I can lift heavy, I told you this before, but I can do 33 3 times, and I actually feel like if we talk a little bit for like 30 more seconds, I can do another set. That's where the progress comes in for me. Before I would be like, ooh, 3 done. But anyway, let's have some lunch and then do some work, and then potentially see, depending on the weather, whether I do it outside or finish it here at home. Let's go. All right, after that set, I felt like I'm gonna get some protein in here, so I've got some eggs. I'm only having 3. Sophie's having the other one. I've got my protein shake, and we're filling that up with 50 grams of biltong. So, you know, it's always good to time your meals, to be honest. Every time, like before breakfast, I do push-ups, then I have breakfast. Then I go to the gym, and when I come back, I have a snack like this, you know? And then in the evening, you do a workout before gym, because you want to feel, you want this to go into this. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's good. What is he there? There he is, that's a white one. Alrighty, so we're gonna do 25 push-ups here in the Bushveld. Now this is a really nice walk, also very close to us, called the Elfin Trail. So yeah, let's go ahead and smash it. 34. That's 34 because I told you before we need to do 34 in order to get to the 333 mark. So yeah, I think, you know, every time I do a little push-up outside, like already here I can see there's a guy jogging, there's a woman coming with a, I think it's a dog. So, you know, you kind of feel pressure to rest really like quickly, so you can move on to the next thing. But you know, sometimes you just have to not give a fuck. You know, have you read that book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck? Pretty good. I mean, it's not about that necessarily, it's just the title. It's about way more, so I would potentially actually recommend you reading that. It's really good. Anyway, let's keep on to set number 2, shall we? Ooh, that one's a bit harder than I thought, to be honest. And the floor is nice and wet, so it's pretty good. Otherwise, quite hot. And yeah, it's also quite nice, to be honest. I mean, I'm not sure if you saw the guy running past us here, and also there was a woman. She kind of like walked past the camera to kind of avoid us. So, you know, people are really nice, because, you know, I don't have a right to be here. You know, it's not like I own this spot. It's pretty free, and everyone can join in. But again, chest pump is there. Everything looks pretty dope. So I want to rest a little bit longer, just because that previous one was like on me quickly. But you know, I think being outdoors, one good thing about it is the fact that, especially me working from home, is you get to experience like the sound of the wind and the birds, and we saw a white squirrel. You know, it's pretty cool. It's stuff that you don't see at home, and you can watch and Google anything at home. You know, you can Google a black lion if you want to, and you'll find it. But coming out here, experiencing nature for yourself, that's just a different vibe. There's a smell as well, because there's so many trees, so you can smell things, you can feel the wind on your skin. Now it's definitely recommended to do things outdoors. Walk, run, push-ups. Anyway, let's do that last set of 34. Alrighty, finito, done with set number 4. Let's have a little walk and talk, shall we? Alrighty guys, that is, I don't know how many push-ups is that? Like 1-5 something, potentially, I don't know. Quite happy, you know. There's basically, tomorrow will be a week of doing push-ups every single day. So that's pretty exciting and pretty cool. But yeah, I'm gonna love and leave you. We're gonna go for a little walk and finish the route, and then I'm gonna go home, have some dinner, and I have some pretty cool news, I guess. Tomorrow the push-ups will be a little different. It will be the same thing, I mean, it's push-ups, but the location is gonna change, because we're gonna go away for an evening, maybe like a day evening, and the location is sick. Like, if you're not from South Africa, I definitely believe you should watch this, because we're gonna show you just, I guess, countryside, open fields, just a beautiful location. And hopefully, because I mentioned that the roof of the bedroom is just glass, so we might be able to watch the sun or the star, the Milky Way, before we go to sleep. Anyway, I'll see you on day 7. Cheers.